Good afternoon, friends. Steve Ben-Nun here with Israeli News Live and on our Patreon channel. This is a little tidbit, little extra special broadcast that you guys get to see here on Patreon that we're not sharing elsewhere. Uh, Different reasons. One, no doubt it'll be controversial, but at the same time, it's just a little something extra for our friends here on Patreon we wanted to share. And this is about Nimrod. Of all characters, biblically speaking, some very interesting things were shared with me recently in a private meeting that I had. And I wanted to share those things with you because I thought it might be of a great interest for our listeners to know about these things. And when I say Nimrod, maybe we should actually title the video, Why Did We Really Go to War with Iraq? Most people would say, well, according to Netanyahu, is because Saddam Hussein was trying to acquire weapons of mass destruction. Oh, well, they invaded Kuwait. What else is a better reason to go to war with Iraq and overthrow the country and cause other problems? And then others would say, no, we went to war with Iraq because of the oil. Well, all those things are wrong. But yet it was the pretext for war. It was 9/11. It was, after all these terrorists that took down the Twin Towers in New York City, and we went to war because of 9/11. No, but what's really sad to say, though, is that 9/11 was actually a sacrifice of how many thousands of people died? Some 2,000 plus people died as a sacrifice. Could that have actually been a sacrifice for their god Nimrod that they were going to extract from Iraq? Well, I can't really say on those issues there, but I can tell you that what we have discovered recently was the main purpose for going to war in Iraq was to extract not only the mummy of Nimrod, but also the artifacts that were surrounding his body. As weird as that may sound, that is very true. I also found out that when, of course, George Bush was president, George Bush Sr. at the time was president of the United States when this was all going on. And this is when Hillary and Bill Clinton began to show up at the White House. They were being seen by a very particular individual that I know were being seen there in the White House during the times of when George Bush was president, and Hillary Clinton played a major role in making sure, maybe we should say, that the mummy of Nimrod would be brought back to the United States after the Gulf War. And yes, we did find and we did extract this body along with other artifacts and things like that from Iraq, and it was brought back. Well, in the process of all of this is, some of the very interesting things that you find out is that not only did they bring back the body of Nimrod, but they brought back some very interesting artifacts, of which it was not disclosed to me what those artifacts were. But ironically enough, it was at that particular time that we got the major part of the CERN, or Hadron Collider, that was constructed over in Europe. The main part of the facility that was constructed was done after those artifacts were brought back, some 10 years roughly afterwards, that the CERN Hadron Collider really began its major jump forward in technology. Something that was pointed out to me, there was something about the burial place of Nimrod that had some artifacts there that projected us forward with technology like no other time in history. I'm blown away by the things that were shared with me about this and what we were actually doing at the time in Iraq, to gather these artifacts and to gather the very mummy of Nimrod. But it didn't end there. another very strange thing that was shared with me about the mummy of Nimrod is that the United States, when they brought the mummy of Nimrod back, that his body was actually in remarkable condition. And as soon as I heard this, the first thing that popped in my mind was, were they trying to clone his body? Are they trying to clone him to bring him to life, to create an Antichrist type of being? Well, then I find this article here, back from 2016, Nimrod's tomb found, cloning of Nimrod and Osiris underway. So it wasn't such a far-fetched idea. But then I was told, Steve, his body was in such remarkable condition, they weren't even needing to clone it. They actually went into the ether to try to get a spirit to place within the body of Nimrod. And I'm like totally blown away by what I was hearing this. And of course, it was confirmed to me that Hillary Clinton had a major role in this. Bill Clinton also at the time. And yet it was George Bush that was president of the United States. And Bill Clinton wasn't even running for president at the time. But there was no plans, or at least no known plans at that time of him running for president. But they were already very much actively involved in the bringing back of Nimrod's body, his mummy, to the United States. And, you know, of course, as this information being shared with me, it's told to me, so would it not be ironic if this ends up being that they have created this being, or if they were able to create that life into this being of 3,000 years old, could they actually bring him back to life, even as through cloning and things of that nature there? Who knows? Isn't it interesting? I mean, if we think about the scripture, though, when it talks about this man of sin that we read about in Revelation, or the beast, said, that he was able to breathe. How was it that scripturally speaking about that? I forget right off the top of my head, though. But he gave power, or was able to breathe life into the image of this beast. They made an image of the beast. He was able to bring life into him. I don't know. It's just, of course, conjecture, but I thought I'd share some of that with you. You don't every day get to hear things like that. When you hear about top secret things that the government has done in the past, why we really went to war with Iraq, and to find out, and I already knew about artifacts that were being looted from the museums and things like that, but to find out that it was Nimrod's mummy was the main purpose for going to war with Iraq, that really took me by surprise. So I just wanted to share that with you guys here on Patreon. I hope it's a blessing to you. There's some other things I'm going to be sharing with you very soon from the meeting that I was in, because there's quite a few things that were discussed. And of course, many of these things are things that really will pique your curiosity. It doesn't really matter biblically one way or the other, but certainly piques the curiosity and causes just really great interest in some things that are going on. Anyway, Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live on Patreon. God bless you, and thank you for subscribing to this channel.